This hand stays up for two reasons. To receive the bell for the next rep, but also...
Today we had Bill Maeda, fitness guru, cancer survivor, over 2 million followers, or he calls them people, on Instagram, TikTok, and 500,000 on YouTube.
What's up, Egan?
What's up? How's that burger?
I'm about to find out.
Don't miss this episode. It's gonna be a good one. In Waimea one was like gnarly, and he was in the shore break, just like getting pounded, like, like that guy's amazing.
Yeah, no, he has taken some hits. Yeah, the kind of impact that those waves, it's supposed to be like totally different. Yeah,
oh, totally. Like even small sand,
like just getting slammed from every direction, literally like being in a cylinder that pounds you.
Yeah.
In air, like just snaps on you at the same time,
and it's pounds you,
it's twisting you as well.
Twists you every angle.
Yeah, it's pulling you this way, that way, and twisting in 14 different directions. Yeah. So that's Clark, man.
Yeah, no, you guys got to be strong too.
Yeah, I grew up with him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, since Hanabata, like literal
so
kindergarten.
Together?
Kindergarten.
Oh, I didn't know he was a
I got
guy.
pictures of Clark in my kindergarten pictures. He's in like 4 different class pictures. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've known Clark forever.
So you're at Punahou from kindergarten?
Kindergarten, yeah.
And then, but you weren't born in Hawaii?
No, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow. And so how long were you there for?
Oh, not long. My brother was born there as well. My folks were there's some Vietnam, and my dad was military doctor. He was an ophthalmologist, yeah. And so part of his training was in Kentucky.
Oh.
And so my brother was born there, and then a couple of years later, I was born there. And then shortly after I was born, then they moved to San Francisco. And then a couple of years later, they moved back to Hawaii. So by the time I moved back to Hawaii, I was already like 2. So I might as well have been born.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah, same
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
So
yeah, because I always thought you were born and raised right here, but
well,
you're raised here.
Yeah, I was raised
born,
just technically not born here. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of, I know, Louisville, Kentucky.
So your dad, I knew your dad was a doctor. Is your mom a doctor too?
My mom was an RN.
Oh, she's
sorry. So they met the old-fashioned way back in the 60s, man. Yeah, she was at Kuakini, and she was, I remember my grandfather, he always tells a story, like, my dad tells stories. My grandpa came home one day, he says, because they were both, my dad and my grandpa were both doctors at Kuakini at the same time. And my grandpa was kind of a dog. Like, he's like, hey, Tommy, you see the new nurses that, because every, right, there's always a fresh, influx of nurses. And he's like, oh, you see the new tall Korean girl? Oh, and he's talking about, like, oh, she got some cans on her. Long story short, my dad, he met my mom in the cafeteria, I don't know, weeks later. Kind of was real shy. He asked her on a date. She said, yeah. So he brings her home to meet, and when he opened the door, and my dad's a total nerd. Like, if he's listening, sorry, Dad, but he'll tell you for himself. My dad's like a total nerd. Like, and he opens the door. My grandpa said he almost, like, his knees buckled because that's the hot Korean. And he thought she was Korean because my mom was tall. For her generation, Japanese lady, she was 5'7".
Oh,
so that was very statuesque. And she was just well proportioned, tall. So he thought that my grandpa was like, what? Because, he knew his son is a nerd too. He's like, you got like the hottest nurse in the hospital. And you're but anyway, that's
oh, so you got good genes in you.
I guess so. I got, because my mom was a hot Korean, so I guess, good for me, right?
I thought it was all your workants that made built this way.
Man, it's but no, hey, seriously though, honestly, I like people to know for real that kind of game, slightly more serious, but the look that I present on social media, it's really important that people know 2 things. I've never used steroids or any PEDs or performance enhancing drugs. I've used like illegal drugs, but not performance, like party. But I've never used hormones ever in my entire life. And also a lot of what people see me doing, the exercises, those are not the foundation of what built me. It's very important that people know that. And I forgot the third point. I'm not
Third point was you weren't born like that.
Well, oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to do this sometimes because I get so excited on these things that, I got ADD brain and just all clogs, but it's genetic.
Yeah.
So my body fat levels and the muscularity that people see, it's super important that people know I don't have a secret workout.
Yeah.
I don't have a secret supplement or a diet. That's why I don't really sell anything. I don't, it's genetic. And it's really important because I don't want people chasing ghosts thinking, and I'm just releasing, I guess my first app. I spoke with the guys today and we're going to release that soon.
Yeah.
But I just want people to know that app is not the exercises that I'm going to present on that. There's no secrets there.
Yeah.
If, they will not get you looking like me if you want to look like me. They'll be good for you in other ways, but yeah, it's real important that people know that a lot of what I got going on here, it is genetic. And as evidenced in my diet and my lifestyle, I get away with a lot of stuff right now, but I'm still trying to make improvements,
That's a good
I'm starting to
disclaimer.
see the shortcomers of, I'm running into a lot of shortcomings of my ways now, so.
So you're learning,
about that.
right? Yeah, let's talk about that. Hey, so you got a brother, right? An older brother.
I do.
So he's built like you?
No, okay, so my brother John is 2 years older than I am. What's up, John? And it's always been strange because he's my older brother, my big brother, but I was always, I'm about 3 inches taller than he is. He's built more like my dad. It's funny, my mom's side, for Japanese people, they're tall and they're big bone, a lot of muscle on them, but they're kind of smooth. And my dad's side, they're small, my dad has all these veins in his arms. He's not a big man. He's about 145 when he was young, but he's always had these veins in his, and he was kind of ripped. So my brother is more like my dad. His bone structure is smaller. He's darker. He looks more, I guess, Anglo. Like my dad has kind of stronger features, but he's lighter built. And yet the thing is, he's a long haul trucker. Okay, he's been trucking for 7 years. He drives 10 hours a day. The lifestyle he lives, he loves that. He loves what he does, and God bless him. I'm glad he does. But he doesn't get a lot of exercise. And, their diet and their sleep is probably not optimal either. My brother, if you look at him, he looks like a smaller version of me.
Oh, wow.
He's got abs. So that's why I'm saying the genetics in my family, because his lifestyle, I don't even think my genetics could overcome. And because as wrong, as many things as I do wrong, my brother he's not trying to, but the conditions that he exists in should make it impossible to at least even appear healthy. Yet my brother stands, his physicals are his blood work. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't party. But he is, for the lack of I think maybe people that work in missile silos, and maybe just because even astronauts get more exercise than my brother does, and he'll tell you himself, but you can't tell. If you just saw him at the beach, you would think he just had a regular, and that like he works out and everything.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I'll agree with genetics for that, but I've always been that guy that fought against like when people would tell me, oh, it's genetics. I'm like, frick, it's not genetics, but you have no idea how hard I work.
Yes.
And then I go, look at my dad, look at my mom, look at my brother. None of them look like me.
Right.
And they try, but it's, it's a whole different level. And like, as you're saying that, I was thinking to myself, like, don't say that, Bill. I have
to overemphasize that. So, cause cause it'll always, granted, no, and I kind of do that to troll people a little as well, because it kind of gets conversations going, but at the same time, there's a lot, I guess I say that because I do a lot of things wrong. Like the things I eat, like last night before bed, I was supposed to go to sleep. We took our friends out to, dinner, came back, I already had dessert And then somehow my wife and I got to eating. We're watching Inside Edition. So we're eating taro chips and drinking pineapple juice. I mean, just sugar and carbs and, and that. But, I don't really get to sit with my wife. And to me, it's no one's going to die if I have some taro chips, some pineapple juice, because my wife wants someone to munch with.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it too. And that's like, yeah, so, but I do stuff like that. And normally, and I do that often.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of say a lot of it is guilt, because if people saw kind of how many things I do wrong relative to the results I seem to get, there would be a strong genetic margin at play. At the same time, I also understate my efforts because I enjoy what I do so much. Like you, I've never considered the efforts I've put into what people will call training, and I call it practice.
Yeah.
I've never equated that with as being something I had to do, like a task. It's something I need to do.
Yeah.
It's an expression of me. So that's why it's never felt like work to me. So I guess I'm lucky because my genetics and my natural predisposition, they seem to align.
That's interesting.
Pretty well.
Because like I'm sort of like you. I'm not on a real strict diet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get my 190 grams of protein every day. Almost guarantee I'm gonna get that.
Okay.
As far as carbs, depends how I feel, right? And you kind of eat how you feel. And sometimes I'm kind of like I try to be on like an intermittent fasting thing, but if I'm hungry at 9, I'm going to eat at 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm starving, I'm going to eat. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. So sometimes I eat at 2, and that's just how I do it. And you'll see me at Baskin & Robbins. You'll see me eating ice cream. You'll see me, buying Haagen-Dazs bars. I mean, people are like, what? You eat that? Or you see me at W&M hamburgers, eating a hamburger. And I know you kind of do the same, but I feel like it's not an everyday thing. I'm at Rainbows. I'm at Rainbows once or twice a week.
They know me too.
And you're right next door, right? But I feel like a lot of people that want to have, like, say, be in shape and have a good physique, they don't understand that being strict is only for a little while. You only can handle being on a strict diet. Like, say, like bodybuilders, for example, they only peak once or twice a year.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, they look like everybody else. They just look like big guys, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like you and I pretty much stay pretty ripped. I'm not as ripped as you, but I stay pretty ripped all year long. So like I stay and I've always been like that.
Right.
Every sport I played, I've always believed that after the competition, I don't like blow up like everyone else. So I got to drop 30 before the fight. I stay within 10, and I've always been that way. And I feel like you compound and you compound and you compound. And every year after that, I feel like I can eat even more foods that are not right.
Right.
That's wrong, that you're not supposed to eat. And you can get away with it.
You can.
And I think that if you just started the fitness journey and then you do what we do, it's not going to work.
No.
Right? It's been, how many years have you been?
No, I started, I think when I was about 10 years old.
There.
You know,
So
that's at least when I can remembering, starting. So, and, another thing about just diet real quick, because I literally, I don't restrict any calorie, carbs or sugar, and I drink Coca-Cola, and I went to Matsumoto's after class, and I got condensed milk, all that stuff, everything in it. But what I eat is completely random. I've called it an AK-47 diet, where it's like whatever's available, you just right. But the one principle that is always at play, regardless of what I eat, is the total calories that I think I consume in a day might surprise people at how relatively low it is. So some days, I might be eating ice cream and this and that, but then I'll go for many, many hours without eating anything. So when I post these pictures of me shooting whipped cream on a peach and going, yummy. And that's literally what I do. I sometimes just put whipped cream on fruit and eat that as a pre-workout because I need something, on certain days, but I don't do that. But if I eat like that, or if I eat a bun or pancakes or whatever I'm showing off on a video, I don't I usually will go a long period
Yeah.
of time. I might not have lunch. If I had a French toast, whatever, for breakfast, I might not have lunch. And then dinner, it's going to be something like steak and some white rice, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the net total calorie consumption is always, I think, lower than what that's, I think, what accounts for the
leanness.
I can just feel now exactly when I should eat and what I should eat. You know, there's sometimes where a double Whopper or a triple Whopper with cheese, that you just want that. And when you eat it, as you're eating it, you can feel your body's like, and it's just, and you could literally go for a run after you eat something like that, and your body's like, that's exactly what I needed, right?
Yeah.
And you're fine. You're just perfect. Yeah.
You don't notice too, like after you eat something like that supposedly is unhealthy, but your body wanted it. Mm-hmm. After you eat it, you don't feel like it's like just this pump goes through your body.
I do.
Yeah, because
I literally. Oh, that's weird. I thought I'm okay. Yeah, I call it food boner because I used to especially when I was younger, my parents, or they could tell, or any of my family, they'll tell you, like, when I was in my teens to my 20s, we'd go to restaurants. And back in the 80s, you know, I was kind of wearing the sleeves, or you know how we kind of roll them up, and like the polo shirts and everything, right? All the polo shirts are. And after, I'd be sitting at dinner and I'd be eating steak or whatever, and they got used to this. They would see my muscles fill.
Yeah.
Like I'd stand up from the table and I was pumped. Like, I call it a food boner, man. Literally the food I ate was just, and my muscles were just eating. I could just feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's how I do food.
Yeah, no, but you know, the reason this is so interesting to me and I wanted to talk to you about it is now you're telling me that you got this app and you have this disclaimer that they will not look like you by doing this app. Mm-hmm. What if they did it for 20 years? Okay. There's a good chance that they could do that.
In all fairness, hopefully we designed it so that they could. It's just a single kettlebell thing, so it should be all right. But so a broader answer to the question would be if they, whether it's my app, your app, or any other app, the consistency of the effort, for 20 years, even, I think regardless of what it is, would have to result in something good. Yeah,
totally.
I just would,
Okay, good.
Because,
that's the point I'm trying to make. It's a lot about work and about years and years. And I just made a post on stacking your wins. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a book that talked about stacking stuff, right? And I feel like that's something that you've done. You've stacked over the years. I mean, you got this bank account full. I mean, if it was money, we'd be like, let's not even talk about that part, right? But it's like money, but it's for your health. I mean, it's the way you look, the way you live. I mean, I think it's such a huge thing that people don't understand. People think I'm going to buy Bill's app. I'm going to freaking look just like Bill in 3 months.
No,
right?
No. Yeah. And you know, this is kind of my first product of that sort. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, I'm not a pro like you. So I wanted to make sure I talked to these guys, said, make sure that it's super easy to get their money back. And, you know, hassle-free. I say it has to say hassle-free. Because I want people to be super satisfied and so, but we'll see how that goes.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll do good. And I feel like, you know, with your disclaimer, I'd like to go on the other end and you know, say that you can be almost built like Bill, but you just got to stick with it for years and be consistent, because I think that's the trick to everything.
You know,
right?
And here's the thing, it's kind of funny. I want to talk about the foundational lifts just real quick. The squat, the deadlift, the clean. I didn't do a lot of bench press, but we'll go with bench press and the pull up, you know, and the overhead press. All of those things we did, 80s, 90s. And I noticed now there's a big attack on bilateral, sagittal plane, non-rotational, non-reciprocating movements. So now, before it was remember for years, the bench press and the curl I've always been attacked, right? Non-functional, this and that. And now I see that's now spreading into Olympic weightlifting. There's all these videos on why Olympic lifting is destroying your movement, and how squatting and deadlifting is, you're actually you're reinforcing imbalances in the body. And see, when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, the last thing I cared about, because unlike you, I wasn't athletic. I only cared about building muscle. That's all I cared about. So moving well, that wasn't part of my equation at all. But so in terms of, so if there's one thing I do credit with the muscle mass that I'm able to bring to the camera now, or just that I have, it came from those lifts. I was obsessed with barbell squats more than I was deadlifts. The barbell squat to me just demanded, it was a scarier lift because I had to be perfect. On a deadlift, it's something that I could let go, and the load was so much below. There's a lot more consequence on where the bar is on the shoulders. But I learned, I felt like if I could squat properly, then I could deadlift properly as well. But I noticed the guys that were deadlift guys, and they squat was kind of a second, their squats were terrible. So, and that was just for me. So I just want to make a point that the first probably 40 years of my life, up until the time I found the kettlebell, it was squats, deadlifts, cleans, my version of Olympic lifting, big, heavy, as relative to me. Those were it.
Yeah.
Just years and years of that. And now I have those spinning kettlebell stuff and all the, I can now that,
movement.
But those are the foundation that I can now, so those are like the engine. And then now all these new things that I do, that's like brakes and steering, but I needed that engine first. Yeah. And that's why I am a big proponent of unless the people pushing the squats and the deadlifts are claiming it's going to make you run or perform better, they shouldn't say that. But if you just want muscle, or you just want to build an engine block, those are the lifts. And there's no way around that. Yeah.
I agree 100%. I mean, even through my athletic career, the squat, deadlifts, and cleans are my go-tos.
Yes.
And I always did that. I feel like those exercises prevented injury, right? So they strengthen your core. Yeah. And like people think holding a plank, doing sit-ups, like in my mind, I'm like, that's not what makes you strong. I mean, that makes you look good, but the deadlift is what makes you strong, I think.
Yeah.
So I've always been a big deadlift, power clean guy, push press, like that kind of thing. And then, of course, I always evened out my body by single leg deadlift, single leg.
Yeah. Then we can go asymmetrical, offset.
Yep.
And but I just always want to make a point that even now, I still do these flat-footed, sagittal plane, non-rotational meathead movements. Because to me, whenever there's a debate on a martial art versus another one, or rotational stuff versus sagittal, my thing is I never get caught up in those types of things because I'm kind of greedy. I just take, like Bruce Lee said, you just take what you like from both.
Yep.
And let them all sort that shit out. And I just be like, well, I like there's functional patterns.
Yeah.
Nadi Aguilar. I've been following that guy for years. I know he's controversial, and he's the whole rotational, I think, awareness of rotational, I think a lot of it did come from him and his efforts and people that are supporting. I love what he does, but I know he gets on a lot of people's nerves because I think he speaks his truth, and I respect him for that. And he's got a lot of great information.
I think so too,
Tons of it.
Yeah.
And yet there's, David Weck. I just went up to see him in January. It's just same thing. And he and Nadi, I know they agree on a lot of things, but they might digress on others.
Yep.
I go see David. gonna get from David what I like. I mean, I go see Naughty. Naughty's,
Yeah.
and that goes with everyone, and that's why I guess it might make for good, I don't know, media to write, you know, to kind of troll each other, but me, I just let them all do their thing, and I just say thank you,
take whatever.
Thank you.
I use theirs to post on my stuff sometimes just to prove my point.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of things that I preach, and for a long time people like, I don't know, Egan, and then that comes up, I post it, and everyone's like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, didn't I tell you that a long time ago?
Yeah. So,
but it's funny,
But yeah, no, it's just take what is useful.
Yes.
Yes, I mean.
I think going back to like lifting, I mean, I've always been against bench press and against bicep curls.
Okay.
I mean, when you come to, I know we're going to talk about that next, but when you come to athletics, big biceps, big chest gets in the way, you know, and so I'm really against that.
Yeah.
And I've tried, you know, you remember that lady, Lynn Sealbert?
Oh, of course.
Right? Okay, so a lot of people ask, you know Lynn? And no.
Yeah. If you say Lynn Sealbert, nobody knows who you're talking about. If you say, you remember Lynn?
Yeah, just Lynn.
Just Lynn.
Lynn, the one that worked everywhere?
Yeah. Or just say the bike.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Legendary.
So, yeah, she's legendary. So she worked on my bench press. I was stuck at like 375,
Oh, poor you.
forever. Like I couldn't, like I would just barely get it up. And she goes, hey, I'll teach you how to teach you how to push, do some bench press. I'll get you to 400. I'm like, 400? I'm in.
Oof.
I think 6 months later, she had at her house. Have you ever trained at her house?
The one on Diamond Head.
The one that, you go down there. Yeah. She had
that's
the mirrors.
Carl Franks.
That's where Carl Franks was too. That's how I got there.
Yeah, he beat my ass.
Oh, really?
In the nicest way. Yeah, literally shook hands. He's like, hey, you look like a martial artist. You want to see something? Thinks he's giving me this C-lock thing. I'm like, yeah, man.
That's like funny.
I don't know. I couldn't even keep track of what parts of me were getting struck.
Yeah.
I mean, hit behind the leg, side of the neck, behind the neck, rib cage. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, that's so funny.
Carl Franks.
Yeah, I trained him to fight.
Oh, wow.
So I trained Frank.
Tell, bro, because that guy came out when he was something good, bro. Yeah,
that's really
dude. Oh, I'm sorry, I cut in and started.
Yeah, that's right. So she got me to 410 on a bench press for 2 reps. But then I started getting wrist aches, elbow aches, shoulder aches, and then my jiu-jitsu and my boxing started like slowing down.
Okay.
And so I kind of backed off, and that's where I started backing off from that. And I just stayed with the deadlifts and the power cleans.
Right.
But she was amazing. I mean.
Yeah, she was. She was, man. Oh. Whew.
Yeah, she was something. Oh, that's interesting. You need her and Carl.
Yeah. No, I remember one day I went down there. And I was just down there with a friend, like this guy, he knew Lynn, and I was just kind of hanging out. So, hey, what's he comes out? What's up? So damn, dude, you're kind of thick. You know martial arts? I'm all, I just do a little bit. What do you do? Here, check this out. And he's all, here, throw a punch. I'm like, and then he just, I don't even remember.
You're bigger back then too, right?
I was,
like 220.
About that, yeah.
Around there?
Yeah. Back when I was probably 210.
210.
Yeah. The biggest I ever got was when I was living in LA. I was about 220. Yeah. But that was all I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And just creatine, and, you know, back then they sold ephedrine and all that, you know, all those stuff they used to had. And, but it was just watery.
Yeah.
You know, I was living in Venice and working out Powerhouse and Gold's Gym, and just being the smallest guy there. But I got a little bit of respect because as an Asian guy, I was considered big. Yeah. So even though I was like smaller than everyone there, because I was an Asian guy and I was kind of taller and somewhat thin, I got a little bit of something. But yeah, I remember seeing, because back then, you know, those days like Michael Hearn and all the guys, Paul Dillette and
they're all
Gary Stratham and Mike Chris, all those guys were just everywhere, just walking. You just got used to seeing them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was a good time to be there. Oh, anyway.
You know what's really cool is I've always liked Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. I mean, besides his ability to move and strike and fight.
Sure.
But I always liked it that with clothes on, he looked like not much.
I know.
Then he'd take off his shirt.
Oh.
And then he's just ripped.
Yeah.
And so you're just like that. And I think like it's really cool because I see you walking around at Iolani and looks like a regular guy. And I'm thinking to myself like, these guys around here that don't know Bill, like, I mean, they might have saw you on Instagram, then they know. But if they don't, they have no idea.
Well, thank you. That
Right?
because
I think that's really cool.
I wanna when I do wear clothes, I just want to be like a person.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, you know, like the
Yeah,
days, you know, like I say the
yeah,
polo
yeah.
shirts, and we're rolling up our shirts, and I'll have it. But you know, now I'm kind of old. I'm a dad. You know, kind of.
Yeah, I bet every dad wish he had a body like yours, though.
Oh no, everybody. I tell everybody, I got a body. You know, Clark Little. He's all, oh man, look at your body. I said, yeah, but look at this farm. You know, everybody's like, look at you, what you do, like what you do on a foil board. I'd trade a little, man. I was like, you know, so everyone's got their thing that. Yeah, mine is just more apparent, right? Because it's just my appearance, but. I know everyone has. I tell people say, Bill, like you get this all the time on the comments. You're amazing, and if I can, I'll always say you're amazing too. I don't don't need to know what you do, but I truly mean that when I say, and I'll go back. I'll say, okay, this guy's name is Chad, so I'll say, Chad, you're amazing too,
Nice.
because I know without meeting them that they truly are. Every person is amazing at least several things. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, right? Everyone is. Now, just going back to like that shirt, like, you know how you said that your disclaimer at the beginning, you said like, I just want everyone to know that I don't use steroids and all of that. I think one of the points I like to make is like, usually when guys do steroids, you can tell.
Okay.
They're bulging out of their shirts. You know what I mean? Like something has changed on their body that looks like not right, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like for you, it's like, look, you look like a regular guy.
I hope so.
And then you take off your shirt and you rip, and that's when everybody's like, whoa, way, he's got to be doing something. But I don't, you know, like for me, I look at that, I'm like going,
You know,
like 100% I believe you, like you're clean, because that's how I feel like the body should be. I mean, if it's where you can see it with clothes on, then you're a bodybuilder.
yeah.
And then it's a whole different thing. Like I feel like you've probably gone more into functional. I see you do barefoot running, sprints.
I'm doing that more
Because I've always been into sprints. I feel like sprints works every muscle in the body and it kills you, right? No matter how good a shape you get in, you're always breathing hard at the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's always relative to the practitioner. Like you said, you can be Usain Bolt, and sprints are still going to kick your ass.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
It's a very democratic exercise, and I'm trying to get that back because literally during the years from I started my whole social media in 2020 with the pandemic, right? Everyone's locked up at home, and I kind of went really hard on it for a couple years. Even after the world opened, I still would go out to that little walkway in the yard and do whatever. I'd post something, and that got me talking about sagittal plane, flat-footed, non-reciprocating. No, I was shocked when I finally went down to Kapiolani Park. I literally hadn't sprinted for probably 2 years, and I felt because I was doing everything else and when you're in your 50s, it's a kind of a weird thing for me, at least, where there's that time when you're in your 40s, you could like not do something for a long time, but you could just go back to it and do it.
Yeah.
Well, the 50s are kind of a little different, right? So I didn't run for probably 2 years, like seriously sprint. I couldn't believe how I could not move my legs properly. It looked like I was injured. And I was running accordingly, like I wasn't trying to push beyond it, but it looked like it was either I got hit with a tranq dart because I was so clunky and so many different things hurt. And I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and I tried to there were these cool steps next to the train station that had all these lights on it, and I thought it'd make a cool video for me to just run up. Yeah. Fuck. No, no one ever saw that. Oh, my legs would not go.
It
was like doop, 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 doop. Usually steps, right? Yeah. But I hadn't run steps in such a long time that, and I guess at this age, it just, you don't do something for even not that long, and wow. So now I'm sledding, I'm farmers carrying more, I'm starting to do short sprints. Yeah, just trying to get those legs back.
That's cool. I mean, I think there's research studies showing that after the age of 30 or 35, people never jump again, people never sprint again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, in my head, I don't understand that because my last fight, what was I? I was 52 or I was 42 years old. So
Okay.
I was doing sprints all the way to 42. And then even after I retired, my workouts kind of stayed the same.
Right.
Because I feel good doing those things. So I've always sprinted. I've always done plyo boxes and I've always jumping rope. That's another thing, jumping rope. People don't jump rope.
Yeah.
And that's killer.
But, I mean, okay, I've always thought, me and the rest of the world, I always thought you're amazing, but are you okay with we talking about your knees?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I just recently learned that this guy get artificial knees. That's just so, I'm blown away by that. That is so
Yeah,
that you
2 years ago.
you do.
2 years ago, I got, and I attribute that to, and I talk about this a lot, where when you're training to win and to be a champion at something,
Right.
you do things that are a lot different than longevity training. So a lot of this damage was done,
Sure.
trying to be the best racquetball player. Most of it was racquetball.
What do you mean trying?
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I got there, good thing, because
So,
I got these forever.
oh,
now.
wow, that's amazing. That's actually inspiring for me because, I'm trying to,
Preserve
let these guys go as long as I can, but I don't know if I need to go that direction. It's good to know, bro.
Yeah, let me know, because I got a good doc. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're under 60 years old and they do it, or actually under 70 and they do double knee replacements, they don't want to do it.
Oh,
So that's the thing. It's like they want to do one at a time.
you got them both, yeah?
But I did it both. I convinced the doctor, I said, dude, just got to do both, because I'm not going to go.
Because the
rehab.
rehab,
Yep,
it's
rehab's
going to be
tough.
more balanced.
Yeah.
And more, wow.
And I was like, if I got to go through a lot with one and there's a lot of pain involved, I'm not going to do the second one, because I got 2 torn labrums, one in each shoulder. I did this surgery.
Okay.
3 months later, I was supposed to do this one. I was like, screw that.
Oh,
I'm not doing it.
okay.
So this one has a torn labrum yet. So when I hang sometimes, I can't really go. I can feel it come out.
Oh,
Or even like when I throw punches, I got to be real careful how I don't overextend,
get it like subluxate.
because it'll come out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'll pop back out. And that's how I hurt this one in the tournament in Jiu-Jitsu. It popped out. And then, so for me, it's super important to keep the muscles solid in here.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. So there's ways of doing that. I mean, there's going to be a point probably I'm going to have to do it, but hopefully I don't in a long, long time. Right.
There you go, bro.
But yeah, so yeah, these
So
things.
just real quick, so besides the foil boarding, the sprinting on those knees is fine.
Oh yeah. I don't think I'm back to the speed I used to be, or not even close. Not that I should be, but I'm just I'm comparing that with my box jumps.
Okay.
So my box jumps aren't as high as it used to be, and I think I can still. I'm still pushing it. I'm trying to see.
All right.
And then I saw recently on social media, you know how you sit on your knees with your feet like this here, and jump up to your feet. Have you seen that? They're saying
I've seen that.
They're saying that it's a thing where what is it? It shows that you're about 30 years old as far as physical ability and movement.
Oh.
So I was gonna make a video on that and see if people would try it.
Because right now, to sit in a kneeling position,
It bothers me.
my knees,
Oh, you got arthritis in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like there's literally a hard physical
Can't
stop.
move. Yeah.
Like it's like even if you I feel like if someone were to like push me up, like something would just go
Snap. Oh yeah.
and then I'd be down there, but I'd never get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
So, if I could get back to that somehow, that'd be.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna just about the knee. So there was a point where I couldn't. So this was as straight as my legs would go.
Oh, okay.
That's it. So I was walking around like this,
Uh-huh.
and then to bend, I could squat down here, and what you're saying, it wouldn't go anymore, no matter what I did. So when I'd sit down, it was kind of like to here, and I just kind of fall back.
Oh, so they were really.
They're super, like the arthritis was super
Oh,
bad.
wow.
Like it was bone on bone for years, but they were saying you got to wait till you're 60.
Oh,
But that's why, like, since you asked about it, it's like, don't wait till you're 60.
yeah.
If your legs can't go straight anymore, or you find that you only can, like, I mean, if you can go 90 degrees,
Like I'm
you're still good.
like I'm still.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So I'm just.
Yeah. But once it can't go straight, do it.
Okay.
Or if there's a time where you can't do something you love to do, just do it. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't matter what the doctor says.
All right.
You got to get it done, because I'm still 2 years later fighting out of bad habits that I created, trying to just be able to do things with with like a disability almost. Like.
Sure.
So
Have you seen those joints? Just real quick. Have you seen how they're made?
yeah.
They're heavy.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
my mom, she had, and then, I'm sorry, the way I know is she passed away, and then, they cremated her, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they give you all whatever they gathered in the ashes, and she had knee replacements, right? They hand me this box, and I'm like, feels like a gun inside. I'm like, this is my mom. What is? I open it up. There's all the little nails from the little coffin.
Yeah.
And then these joint and they're heavy.
Yeah.
Wow, they're super sturdy.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah,
So-
these things are. Yep.
I had no idea. I thought they were kind of going to be like plastic and all shiny but they're like titanium.
Yeah, titanium.
right?
And I think in between the joint is this some kind of like almost like a plastic.
Right.
But they say that you can get a sharpest knife and you can't even dig a line in it.
Really?
That tough. It's some kind of plastic though. So your knees are gliding on this plastic.
Ooh,
Yeah.
damn.
Kind of cool.
I'd like to see that. Right on.
So we're talking about, you mentioned the social media and how you built that social media up. That was my next thing I wanted to go on that.
Yes.
I think like we could go on and on about fitness and training. I think that's super cool. And before I switch to my social media, I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to mention, I get so much people go, you and Bill, if you guys went together and did some workouts, that would be the best. And I think it would be great.
I would have to agree.
But the thing that I was thinking is, like, I'm not a big weightlifter, and you lift a lot, but like some of the other things that you're doing, that'd be fun.
You know what? The last thing I'd probably have you do is just flat-footed sagittal plane lifts. There's other things that I'm doing with the kettlebells now that I think would be kind of much more aligned with, because these are more martial-based movements that you'll see there's more of, like, basically the kettlebell, it could be a weapon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I sometimes study, like, if I was given this as a weapon, and like I'm some weird movie, like some gladiator fight to the death, like I'm forced to do this, and they give me a kettlebell, and I'm given like 100 days to develop some skill that I'm going to fight another dude. I don't know what he got. How would I move this kettlebell?
Oh.
And that's how I try to come up with certain movements where the bell is actually I'm wielding it like a weapon, or it is simulating the conditions of combat. Like this, what I call an infinity lunge, where I spin the kettlebell around my head and then I let it drop behind me as I also retreat into a reverse lunge. So as I'm going into a lunge pattern, I have this weight that's on my side that's also trying to pull me in a rotation. And those are the movements I think that would have a lot more application to you.
Yeah.
Like single kettlebell movements and you have to pivot your feet. There's a lot of, literally you're turning 90 degrees but you're following the momentum of the bell. So you're not trying to muscle the bell. I'll show you, there's ways where as the bell arrives on the shoulder, you can now turn as it lands and you're facing that direction. And then you can redirection. You can now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's sort of like dancing with a kettlebell. And I think that's the reason why I'm kind of squeamish about the first release of this app that we're going to do is because that was kind of more static position things. And I've developed what I'm describing to you since. And that's really what I want to, but that'll be the next.
Yeah, that'll
be the next. There's single and double kettlebell and dumbbell movements that are a little more, would have more martial type of applications in terms of footwork and
great.
Also in like, when guys shoot for your legs, some of these lunge patterns these sprawls that they kind of simulate that. So, and it'd be really nice because my development of these is purely like conceptual. Like my actual fight experience is literally non-existent compared to yours. So it'd be fun to kind of run these by you.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You could give me your, we could hybridize these
I would
things.
love that.
Yeah.
Burton did that. You remember he came out with that book, Burton Richardson came out with Street BJJ or BJJ for the Streets, the book. most of those techniques, okay, Ian, let me take a lesson from you. So he'd come, he goes, okay, I got this technique. Let's see how you beat it.
Oh, wow.
And so Burton does a lot of research like that.
He does.
Yeah. So we did a lot of that, and that was so much fun. Yeah.
I got to know Burton Richardson really well. A couple weeks ago, Matt Jacobson, and Burton and I, we all went out to Manhattan Beach for a few days, and that guy is just so amazing. He is, number one, it's hard to find someone who's more of a gentleman.
Yeah.
I mean, truly just a gentleman. Yeah. Like, Burton Richardson is just to travel with him, to spend time. It was just so much fun. Yeah. And just a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. We met, we went and visited, Dan, Santo.
Guru Dan, yeah.
Guru Dan.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he is.
That guy's amazing.
He is, I swear, he is in that class full of people. He owns that room. Oh, yeah, he's not standing on the side letting his instructors run. He's front and center. Yeah. In fact, he just, the 3-hour class, we got there at 7, didn't get out till 10:30. That's because Dan was just holding court, man. He's like talking with Burton and 2 other guys all at the same time. And he just has so much energy.
Yeah, he's unreal.
He is truly an example of living well and doing things right.
Totally.
Because to get to where he is and to be as healthy and he can still whip ass.
Oh yeah,
he makes like, oh no.
You can and he's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu too.
I know.
Right? He started so late. I remember when he started. It's crazy. Yeah, so Bert and I go back forever. I mean, it's been I'm the reason why he moved to Hawaii.
I always wondered.
In the first place, yeah.
Yeah, I wondered. Yeah. Because I met him on movie sets in Los Angeles. He was a fight coordinator and we're stuntman and stuff. And so I met him on several sets. And then I moved back in 2000 and I ran into him in some coffee shop in Kaimuki. I saw him. He was standing in line. I just kind of like took my finger, I stuck it in his kidney. And the way he just kind of went and just slowly turned around. Just like, brother. Yeah. And the way he turned around, I was also like, oh, shit.
Up.
Sorry, but it was just me.
It's Bill.
And he hadn't seen me in a while, so it took a few seconds. The way he's looking at me, I'm like, bro. I'm like, sorry. It's my wife. Yeah. Leslie was right there with me. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, what's up, bro? Burton.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm gonna have fun here for sure.
You trained?
He's a black belt under
you, right?
Yeah.
So you got Burton Richardson, Barrett Yoshida,
had Carl Franks,
right?
Yeah. I got some really good guys that did well for me.
Oh yeah.
Did well for my name.
You did well by them, man. So
that's cool. Yeah, so let's get to your social media. So social media, you're over 2 million views, or 2 million followers over that, right? 2.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you don't even care. It's like, it's over 2 million.
Yeah, that's right. I really track. That number, like, I guess you can go into the analytics and see like, if you can see like, if you're 2.2, you can see how close you are to getting 2.3 or how close you are to falling back to 2.1. I have never, since I started doing social media, I've only gone into the insights if a company wants to see them, like for a partnership, or if my management company needs to see those numbers. But I don't follow that. I don't track it too much. I'm a terrible
tough after that.
What?
Keep going back and tracking to see what.
Well, to me, I don't. That is never why I did this. Like, my existence on social media is more or less an accident, or it was not. I didn't do this because I wanted to. I mean, it was just something to do. In April of 2020, I've been locked up at home for a month, and I was training clients on Zoom, and nobody was doing anything except from the sessions we were doing together. So I started recording my own workouts just on my little walkway that everyone sees now.
Famous walkway.
Yeah, the famous walkway. And then I posted those to YouTube, and I was so like ignorant about social media, like all of it, Facebook, and technology. I was filming the first many videos that started this whole thing were I used an out of date iPad with a front facing camera so I could prop it up with milk cartons on a chair, and then when I'd walk out there, if I saw myself in then I'd start doing my but I didn't know that the quality of that video is super bad, right? Especially on an old, outdated. But my channel started to grow. My subscribers on YouTube. My wife, when the first few days I started posting these things, my wife said, we get hacked. I said, why? She said, because we're getting all these things from YouTube on our email. And I'm like, and it was saying subscribe.
Oh.
So that's, and they were like they were the worst workouts. I was not in shape because from the time I had my cancer in 2012 and then I finished treatment in 2013, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was clinically depressed. I was physically just broken. I wasn't able to recover or train anywhere. Now I can't train and recover. And I was psychologically, CrossFit was at its peak. So it was crushing trainers like me and all the gyms. Everyone was getting their ass kicked by CrossFit. It was just a perfect storm of not a good time to return to the fitness industry. So I stopped training for 6 years from 2013 till the pandemic. The workout, the video that really launched things on YouTube was me setting a timer for 10 minutes and trying to see how many push-ups I could do with breaks in 10 minutes, I think.
I think I saw that video.
It was just, I'm like, I put it on the ground. The lighting I didn't even clean the lens, so it's all like glossy and I'm just trying to do push-ups because Egan, I couldn't even do a pull-up. Back in 2020 when the pandemic started, my shoulders were so screwed up from lack of use and just imbalance. I could barely hang on a bar without feeling like my right shoulder going to pop out and my left shoulder going to, I literally got in shape on social media during the pandemic because the guy that started in 2020 could barely do push-ups. I could barely do goblet squats. I was wrecked. And so YouTube, this whole thing, when people started responding with comments and stuff, and I started seeing and I didn't do TikTok or Instagram for a solid year. All I did was post my 10-minute workout and I did YouTube every day. Every day I did a 10-minute workout, and it didn't matter if it was raining, it was Christmas. Because to me, people are saying, man, that's really helps keep me going, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't, none of that was really planned. It was just, but the comments were so encouraging. And I've said on other interviews that it really helped with my depression a lot too, because I was connecting with other people.
Yeah.
And this sounds terrible, but I know my wife loves me and my daughters and my dad and my sister, and I know my family loves me. But if you're kind of coming from where I was coming from, like everything I thought I was and that I thought I was good at, I was no longer, at least in my, I was gutted, and no amount of my wife telling me that you're still whatever, I'm sorry, but it just,
yeah.
But when I started hearing from people in Brazil and India and Detroit, man, this is amazing. And it's just really helping me out right now. I kind of feel like I'm in your yard with you, and I'm at home right now. And there's some lonely people, and I'm like, wow. And the humanity that came through those comments, that to me was the most crazy time, because I know the whole world was more isolated than it ever should have been. Yet I felt more connected to the world around me during that time than I have ever felt in my entire life. Yeah. So, and all of these people, and, it was great because I felt like I was helping in some way, and also just the feedback I'm getting from them, and they're asking me questions, and I'm able to. It was very engaging. And I had so much time back. And it was a lot of fun. I didn't know that when you answer questions and you answer and you like it, algorithm tends to It was a perfect time to enter social media. It was the pandemic. If you entered, that was like, the first prospectors that got to California, the first ones that got into those rivers and streams.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what the pandemic was for, at least that's when TikTok exploded. Yeah. I thought TikTok was for teenagers and pedophiles. So when my daughter started telling me, Daddy, you know what, your YouTube is doing really well, but that is some boring shit. You need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, I looked at her, I said, I'm not a pedophile. She's all, no. And she explained to me there's Coca-Cola, Ford, and all the big companies were jumping on TikTok. So I started making shorts. TikTok exploded.
Yeah.
TikTok, within a month, I was at 1 million.
Oh.
Yeah. But I thought, because I thought it was some like, cheesy little social media wannabe platform. I didn't think TikTok was real. So I thought, oh, this is that trick they play. Like, everybody that posts, we all get 1 million followers just to get us to post. I truly felt that because what I was posting was what I felt ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way that I have 1 million followers, like within a month or two. Wow. It was, I got 1 million so fast, they sent me this cake. TikTok had so much money back then. I got this delivery with ice packs, a box this big, and you open it. It's one of those crazy cakes that you cut it and confetti and glitter comes out of it. Like candy and toys and jelly beans fall out of this thing. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then TikTok, so I became I love TikTok because they really, in spite of what people say about that platform and what it might be now, for getting a social media, getting your foundation, that TikTok was mighty. And then after my daughters kind of saw me, the TikTok group, Barry said, "Oh, Daddy, how come you're not doing Instagram?" I'm like, because I was like, how many of these things are there? She's like, there's way more than just TikTok, Instagram. She starts naming me Reddit.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Right. So I started doing Instagram, but what I was doing is I was just taking my TikTok videos and just directly uploading them. So I was, because when you use the TikTok editing, you use their music. I thought it was so nice of them that after I'd upload this video, that the video that I just uploaded, it's now in my photos.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that is so nice that they do that, because now I can just take that and post it to Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm posting to Instagram and I'm getting zero success. Like videos that are getting 1 million views on TikTok, nobody's watching. But I didn't care. I said, well, I got it anyway. And then Instagram slowly started to grow, but very slowly, until I saw a video that talked about the TikTok watermark, and that there's software you can do to just upload. So when TikTok, you can take the watermark off. Now, so I used that, and for some reason my Instagram started to grow. So it worked. This software removed the TikTok watermark, but then I think Instagram kind of got wise to that. And because I think if they can see the all that stuff in the background, they can still see it came from. But it worked, and Instagram started to grow. So I was literally just taking at the time, TikTok was my primary platform. So I just take my TikTok videos, wash the TikTok watermark off, and just exact same video to Instagram, and Instagram eventually started to grow kind of to where it is now.
Wow.
But it's kind of funny though, the first 1 million on Instagram, that happened, once I got there, getting to like 1.5 million was fast. And then to get to 2 slows down. And then now that I'm at 2, I guess the world's sick of me now. Yeah. So it's a slower progression, and it's fine. It's sometimes it's dropped. Sometimes it's dropped to like 2 point whatever. Yeah. But I've always thought, I told my wife that a true test of whether I should do this or not, or whether I'm cut out for this, is when those things happen. If these follower accounts, or if I start getting negative comments, or, you get that thing that tells you how many accounts have viewed your profile in the last 30 days. Do you get that on your, it tells
I
you?
don't look at too many of those things.
Well, it'll give you that. And sometimes that number will drop a lot. But I've always been proud of the fact that that's never really, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect how I treat my family, when I'm driving. It doesn't matter. It's okay, because I would do this even if nobody watched my stuff anymore, because Instagram, the way I'm using it now, it's also like my workout journal, because every day I try to challenge myself to something that I'm not inclined to do, or I saw somebody do something. Like yesterday, I see everybody doing what's called a runner's deadlift, where they basically just stand on a little platform so their heels are not supported, and then you try to deadlift like that, so your feet and your calves are really
working, because you got to balance.
And I tried. I saw you yesterday, and that felt fun. That felt so much better.
Yeah.
I've done that on a Bosu before, but I never really stood on a hard platform, and also the platform I was standing on kind of put the bar nice and low. And that felt so good.
Getting deeper.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to deadlift flat-footed anymore.
Oh, wow.
I just want to see how heavy I can go. Like my knees felt so much better. Because, my feet, my calves now were engaging the back of my knee. So that, it just was one. But I see people do stuff like that, and I'll try it. I'll try it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. But,
wow. So you think part of social media and you doing it, is that accountability for you?
I'm sorry?
You feel like that's your accountability?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Because people say, hey man, how do I be like, what motivates you to get out and do this? And it seems like you're going for it every day. Here's what I tell people, honest to God. I have been, and I know you have been as well, you've videotaped yourself, racquetball, jiu-jitsu, working out, running, you videotape yourself. And you notice when there's a camera on, a couple things. You notice how much more mindful you are, or how much more engaged you are, focused. When there's simply a camera, you're not going to post it it's just for you. But as soon as you press record, it changes things. And I find that extremely motivating. Like if I don't want to do something, and I'm not going to even post it, I will literally put my camera just in some shitty spot, and okay, now do this. So that, and then posting, and then of course posting, or having the self-imposed onus to post. That also, that obviously keeps me on track, because I know that every day I post something, and some days it's going to be like the other day I was just at Clark Little's, at the Little Plumeria farm, and my wife and I were sniffing the plumerias, and I made some dirty ass joke, and that's what I want to post on that day. It doesn't always have to be blood and guts, warrior training, making mean faces. Sometimes it's just lifestyle stuff too. And that's another thing I found. So I'm going to kind of bounce around, but I didn't speak in any of my videos for almost 1.5 years. Like all of the YouTube videos, I didn't say a word. And then I spoke by accident to my younger daughter, Teddy, in a Christmas video. I said something to her, and we posted it. And that video, I was wondering, why did this video get it went viral? Oh. And it was just me, it was a Christmas thing, and we're just playing on some little swing. And we went to the comments, and every other comment was like, oh my God, you speak English? Or just stuff like, dude, you sound like you're from Huntington Beach, or, yeah, they're just like, people had, because when you don't talk for a year, and I guess people kind of just kind of mysterious, right? But I had to start talking because number one, I was so afraid to. It was literally, I have a good amount of, I've always been a little socially awkward. And so to me, it was stage fright. That's the way I am. It takes me a year.
Number one fear. Public.
Yeah. And I didn't want to say anything. So I wouldn't, but when I finally, and I also found like, there were guys I would see on social media who they did some really crazy things, and they're silent and they're quiet. But what they did was so amazing. I would just keep watching their videos, and then they spoke. And once I heard their voice and their personality now my interest in them was so many times greater. I realized, if that's the effect they have on me, I'm wondering if me maybe, so duh. But I started talking more, and
That's good.
and now but wow, it was really scary.
Yeah.
My voice would tremor. Like I'd do voiceovers. I'd be like, so what I'm doing here is I'm now trying to keep the barbell on my left side, but not trying to bend to and it was very stiff, but I just figured, fuck it,
just do it.
Gotta do it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, maybe later on, I said, if this turns into anything, then these will be funny.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then no one's going to give a shit anymore. Just shut up and just go.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's important. I mean, so much people wait for the perfect moment, everything to be right before they do stuff. And what you just said proves all of those people that they should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. And just going back real quick to the, I have a few people, clients and just friends who started doing what I was doing. They first started, they were super shy, and I started some clients, I would videotape them. And when they saw what they were doing, I could tell they were like, because they're kind of self-conscious about it, and they're like, I'm not a real big, so then they started posting it to their Facebook and now some of these people, they found what I found, like, hey, the people that follow me, they like watching me do this.
Yeah.
Instead of me being CEO of this company and doing today's quarterly earnings, it's now, this guy can freaking do that with a sandbag, or this guy can whip it. Like I've got Matt throwing kettlebells on the beach.
Yeah.
People love that, right? But the people that actually started posting some of their work, they get caught up the same way I did. Next thing, people are like, wow, and then they don't do it every day like I do, but it does keep them consistent. Now they're like, oh wow, so the people that follow me, they kind of want to see a workout video once a week.
Yeah.
So some of them are doing that.
Oh, that's great.
Now their hair is always there but they're not freaking out. They're not becoming social media like all, crazy about it. But they said it does add a lot of spirit and a lot of intention to their workouts.
Yeah. I think it makes a difference, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So like for you right now, say 2 million viewers. Let's just put together like that, Instagram, your TikTok, all of that. Does that create a living? Like, do you make money off of this?
I've been doing this about 5 years now, and per my, I guess, the following and the total, my social media platforms, I do make money. I do every year. I didn't really start making money until I started 2020. Probably 2022 is when I started getting a few brand partnerships like Vivo Barefoot and some other companies. But I'm only this late 2024 to now, we're finally starting to look at the more business side of this, because I am getting more inquiries from partner or potential companies that would want to partner with me. But I have not aggressively tried to build that. Yeah, because I guess I don't really consider myself a social media or an influencer. I'm really uncomfortable with that being referred to as an influencer because I've never considered myself a good influence. And
But you are.
and
But
yeah, but and I just don't feel like I'm that so significant that the assumption should be that I have influence. You know, I like to call myself a creator. I create
You're the
things.
creator.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I refer to followers. On these kind of, when we talk, followers are what people understand. That's the terminology. But when I'm talking with my wife, I call them people. Yeah, I said, because to me, the follower thing is always, I know it's just semantics, it's just terms,
Yeah.
but for me to stay kind of contextually balanced with this, I refer to them as people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a creator,
Yeah.
and hopefully,
Okay.
yeah. But aside from that, I'm sorry, what's your next question?
No, that's good. That's good. No, I was just asking if you're making money off of it because
Yeah.
it's like at 2
Okay.
million. You think people would be inviting you, like, "Hey, Bill, come to my restaurant. I'll comp your meals and whatever." If you just
Nope.
post it,
Nope.
that's
Ooh.
crazy. Wow, look at
Oh,
this.
thinking of comping meals, right on.
Yeah, comping.
That was did you plan it that way?
No,
Oh, that's
I-
right on cue.
I did it, man. This is Empire Steakhouse.
thank
Can you tell us what?
We have our cheeseburgers with Wagyu steak and served with our homemade French fries.
Oh,
All right, from Empire. Here we go.
beautiful.
Really delicious.
Thank you, Empire.
Thank you.
Right on. Okay.
Okay, why don't
Ooh.
we dig in?
Thank you. Always got to start with the French fries.
Yep. Right.
My thing is, French fries, they're no fun when they're cold. So you gotta eat them first. Mm-hmm.
I just can't eat real hot foods. Like if it's too hot, not bad.
Like temperature or
Temperature.
spice?
Oh,
Oh,
both.
Chivichyan, you all look
Yes, sir.
so healthy.
Is it?
Today I bring you some something to drink.
I'm good at water.
You're good with
He wants a
water,
Coke.
Juice,
Coca-Cola, please.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, thank you.
4, 3.
No, I'm good at water. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally I drink water, but since we're on a podcast, I'm gonna drink Coca-Cola.
You gotta hit them
No,
up for
explain that.
sponsorship.
Was that?
You should hit them up for that.
I did a
Million
nice.
views, dude.
I was up in Upcountry Maui, and I went to one of those, those little stores on Upcountry Maui, and I got a Mexican Coke, and I just popped it open, and I said Mexican Coke, and I just took it. That fucking video got like 3 million views, just me sipping Mexican Coke. Yeah, I guess because people back then still thought I was healthy, so like, oh, this guy's, and I pounded it, and yeah, well, it's kind of funny what people watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what people like, right?
Yeah, no, French fries. For these were fried in beef tallow, right?
I don't know. We should have had him tell us what it was fried in.
No.
Right?
Seed oils?
Good though.
Where was the cow from?
Yeah. Was it grass fed?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got you mentioned your cancer. I wanted to do that.
Liberal or conservative before it died?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, was the cow
Who did
like
this vote
Japan where
for?
it's floating in the air and then like, get massages every day?
I wonder, like, how is it possible that in the last 2 years, there's so much Wagyu beef all of a sudden? I thought Wagyu beef, you had to massage it,
Yeah, right.
give it beer,
Yeah.
and like, God,
Not even.
dry
Right?
hump it. Yeah, I don't know how all of a sudden there's so much freaking Wagyu all of a sudden, right? This is like all of a sudden there's, like, wouldn't it be nice if they could do that with gold? Right? Just something that's supposed to be super hard to mine, and it's just all of a sudden it's fucking everywhere, right?
Hey guys, if you guys really like this podcast, press like and subscribe. Thanks to the Ilikai Hotel and the Empire Steakhouse for making this podcast possible.
I'm going to do a POV of me taking the bite of this thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you're doing.
All right, here's a Wagyu burger from Empire
This?
Steakhouse, our sponsor.
These are Ray-Ban Maeda glasses. And Egan and I have a special relationship through these glasses in that these glasses, these clear things You cannot get them from the store. This is kind of, oops, sorry, I turned them on by accident. Yeah, so these glasses are made clear so the sales reps could take them to various accounts and show them like what the inside parts look like. But these are like, yeah, apparently they're collector's items. So thank you, Matt. Love you, bro.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, bro. Matt Jacobson. He's the man behind this, and he has something to do with Meta. Kind of forgot what, but no, let me joke. He's he's been with them for a while. Yeah.
Zuck's team running the meta.
Yeah, so this is kind of like Matt, if I'm getting this correctly, Matt is in charge of the Meta, the Ray-Ban Meta, the marketing development of that, and yeah, he wears a lot of hats there. But yeah, thank you, Empire. What? Let's do this. What's up, Egan?
What's up? How's that burger?
I'm about to find out.
All right.
Wagyu?
Wagyu.
Is this Wagyu?
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes. That's really good. For real. Oh, yummy. Okay. Glad I have another one. Whew. All right. I'm gonna have lunch. These are really nice.
Yeah, send me that footage, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Who met him? That's awesome.
The first negative that became kind of apparent rather quickly with the social media was, they talk about there's lots of information about how social media platforms, how addicting they are from the consumer end, right? Just the people death scrolling through. I never understood that because I don't death scroll. I never really, I do every now and then if I get in like a 1FC.
Yeah.
If it's like, yeah. Anyway, damn it, happened again. Freaking Alzheimer's. What happened? Was I just answering the question?
The negative
effect
of
one of them
social
is
media.
like having short-term memory. No. Okay. So, yeah, was you get addicted to posting because when you see, like, there were, especially in the beginning, I would, within like after 4 days of being on TikTok or 3 days, the third, I just posted day one, just one post, day two, another. Third day, I got a post that just got million something views in a very short time. And per the amount of effort I put into that to get not just the response, but the comments, and I literally could watch the follower count going up from that. Of course, you're like, wait, that's like finding a rock in your yard that you just thought was a rock. You hand it to some guy, he's like, fuck, I'll give you $50, right? And you're, oh, bro, I got a lot of rocks. So next thing I'm just kind of posting 4 times a day and I'm getting just more. So I'm now answering the comments. I didn't even know what DMs were for. Like, I missed so many DMs, like people saying, hey, you want a partner? Yeah. But I just got immersed in that. And during the pandemic, it was okay but then when things opened back up, that's where we kind of hit a bottleneck. Because now I'm having to go back to work. My kids are going back to school. We're on a schedule where I'm going in traffic again. And I still had the habit from pandemic time of that level of engagement, which is what I think grew because the amount of engagement I'm doing now is so bad. When I feel terrible, but I just don't spend that time, answering comments. And so and it caused like a lot of literal fights. My wife and my daughters, they understood, but there were times where like I'd miss dinner because I have to post during the dinner hour when everybody else is looking at their phones, and I got caught up in trying to time my posts and yeah. So, but in terms of like the comments, I hear a lot of influencer or creators, they talk about how the comments just burn them and how they eat at them. And the right or the wrong comment will just spin in their head for days, and it just bothers them, and or how they want to like literally kill people who leave. That's never been, I just like everyone, I get, people give me some heat. And, my thing is that, think of what I'm doing, right? I'm like a freaking middle-aged Japanese guy going on my underwear and I'm flexing muscles up in my yard. I should be able to take a little heat. And so I've never been rude or I've never been confrontational. I would treat everybody just gently, and I figure that's a person, assuming it's not like a bot or whatever. It's a person, and just that they took the time to actually press that thing and to actually type something and call me whatever, I still appreciate that. Because if I'm truly insignificant to you, I just will never hear from you. If I'm really that much of a piece of garbage, or if I'm that much of a loser, then I guess the sensible thing for someone who feels that way would just be to let me be that. So if they did leave a comment, I do appreciate their humanity, because I think one day the way we're going with AI, even negative comments that are left by a real human being are going to be coveted one day. I really do. I'm going to go on my little human connection soapbox thing, but I grew up, we all grew up 70s, 80s, and we know, right? We didn't have, we played outside, just like, what are we, Gen X? Yeah.
I don't know what we are.
I think we're Gen X.
I think we're close to baby boomer.
I'm the bottom, like on the cusp of, I forget what we are. But yeah, no, that human connection thing is very important. And but no, aside from other negative side effects from social media, I don't really have a lot. I don't take myself or people's responses to me too seriously. To me, this has to be fun. I don't get caught up in controversies. Sometimes I might post something that ruffles people's feathers, just like we all do. And I respect their views. I right now, I treat it the way I want to be treated. And, so, and I've gotten better at managing my time now. I realize now I don't have to push as hard to, and I'm not really concerned with building it. Like if I have, I don't care if I get 2.4, 2.5. I mean, it's nice if I do. And I feel like if I'm just consistent with what I'm doing, that seems to happen, whether I care or not. So I just kind of focus on, I guess if I focus on something, I focus on not getting caught up in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's a good thing. I mean, the negative isn't that bad for you.
no.
I mean, I don't think now I think about it, I don't think I have bad comments every once in a while, especially when I post something like a altercation that I would have, which is really crazy. And the reason I post those things is just because I like to change. I like to do a lot about mindset. So like my last one was about a altercation in the water. We always get these things with the swimmers.
Yep.
And I turned it into, there was three different parts.
Close to the lady.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then that one turned into integrity, right? Because if you say you're going to do something, you should do it. And he didn't want to do it, but he said what he wanted to do.
Well, maybe the first time you got to, here's something you got to keep in mind though, just real quick, keep your thought. The first time he said that to you, the sun was probably in his eyes and he couldn't really see who he's talking to. So you got to give people that, bro, because I think, when you're out in the water, they got all that reflection. Clearly, he didn't see. Because, bro, even if he doesn't know that you're Iganinoy, remember the rule about the ears, right? Any guy that's walking modern man, if they don't know this rule by now, they deserve what they're going to get.
Right.
So even brother didn't know you, bro. I'm like, okay, hey, bro.
I didn't even think of that because he was from behind yelling at me. And then when I turned around, I tried to paddle away, and then I don't know, my board turned around by itself and went back to the guy.
But yeah, because I've always assumed that, like, sometimes, like when I was younger, I'd see some guy looking at me. And when I was that age, I was like, what the fuck? Bro, what? And then you know what I learned now that I'm my age? Because I sometimes have done that to other guys where my wife she'll say, hey, you know that guy over there? I'm all, who? The guy that's like eyeballing you. And the guy's kind of looking at me, and I look at him, and when I make eyes with him, he goes like, what? And I go, and he goes, and so I go, oh hi, how's it, bro? He's like, oh, what's up, bro? And apparently, what I was doing is I was trying to look at something by him, but because I can't see, I'm kind of staring. And I learned that when I see some kind of people looking at me funny, don't get all like, just be like, hey, what's up? And because if they're not looking at me, they won't even respond to that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I will stare at things because I just can't see.
Yeah.
And then I end up looking at people kind of funny, and then oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at you. Can't see. Yeah. But I'll bet that's literally what happened.
I never thought of that.
Nutcase guy is gonna look at that kind of head. It doesn't have to. You don't even have to see the body. You see that head. Forget it, bro. Yeah. So that might have been what happened too, bro.
You know what? No one posted that.
Yeah.
No one posted that. That's funny. But like stuff like that, people like go after it. It's crazy. How much people love that kind of stuff. Because I've only had maybe 2 that I've posted, and both times it just went crazy.
I saw both of those.
And I was like going, the heck? Nothing happened.
How can there be that many people out there that are so crazy? That just truly they have no survival skill.
Man,
There's instincts.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
Just a dude on a foil board, if you know what it takes to ride that thing, you're not going to mess with a guy. So,
Yeah, that's too funny.
Takes time.
Yeah. I know. Being in Hawaii, too, you look at someone too long, they'll, what you looking at?
You know what, bro? Fuck,
I'm glad I'm not the only one. You had that.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what's funny is if, say, all 4 of us were somewhere and the guys are getting drunk and then they're getting rowdy, they're going to pick me.
Yeah.
Always. My whole life has been like that.
You get like...
Yeah, out of all my friends, they'd be like, what you looking at? I'm like going...
Is this work?
Yeah, you know what? That's what someone else told me. He goes, you look at someone, they tell you what, like they want to fight, and you smirk and they get mad, and that's why they pick. And they look at everybody else, and everybody else will like look to the ground or whatever, and you're the one just kind of going, "Hey, what's up?"
Like, how's it?
Yeah.
I think it'll pick me in my experience.
You really? You and I should go by drunk guys one day, and we'll see.
Yeah, but if they pick you, then you win. If they pick me, I'm gonna lose.
No, then I'll step in and go, "No, you know what? He's with me. Come on."
Got my back.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's crazy that people they wanna mess with Egan. That's crazy. Hey, you know when you fought Marcello, how much did you weigh? Because you were huge back then.
I fought Marcello at 190 pounds. So actually the weight I'm at now, but the weight distribution, like I'm like 16% body fat now. I was like 11 or 10.
Yeah. What's the heaviest you've ever been?
Heaviest I've been is a 201.
Because I heard you.
I fought at 201. I made a post on it, and like I look huge.
That weight?
I fought this guy Metzger. He was a world champion kickboxer, wrestler.
Blaisdell?
No, that was in Japan Pride.
Oh, okay. Oh, Guy Metzger.
Well,
he's
so
big time. Okay.
So he's been in the UFC and everything. I took the fight last minute.
That's all right.
He was 225. So I thought, for some reason, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to gain weight for this fight. Because I always fight at 180. So I'm like, okay, and I walk around like 190 all the time. So I would always drop 10 pounds. That's it. That's all I have to drop. And I go, okay, I'm going to go up 10 pounds. Not a problem. So I just stuffed myself with like all my protein shakes was with ice cream, and I just bulked up for it. And it was horrible because I had Tito Ortiz in my corner. I had Randy Couture in my corner. I had John Lewis in my corner. My brother's in my corner. And then the fight starts. I get him to the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be the best payday, because they also paid me $1,000 a pound. He was heavier than me. So I should have fought at 180.
Okay.
Because that would have been $10,000 more.
Oh.
But so stupid. I gained weight instead, right?
Okay.
And in the first minute, I gassed out because he kept grabbing the rope. And so I was like, how come I can't get him
wait a
down?
minute. What?
Yeah, so they would take
Pride?
so they would take his arm off,
Yeah, okay.
but he would put his arm around the other one. And he kept doing it, and I ran out of gas. And I should have just sat there and just leaned on him.
Right.
And then once I ran out of gas, I was like staggering. Like I was actually literally staggering because I was out of gas. I couldn't breathe because I was just too big.
Right.
And then I don't know, it's pride.
Probably 6 or
Yeah. Then I think he threw a kick, and it didn't even hit me hard, but it was just I didn't go down to one knee because it hit me. It was just I was tired. And then the ref stopped the fight.
Oh.
Which actually saved me a beating because I probably would have took a beating. Because like one of the rules my brother and I had was we were never going to tap in a fight. Doesn't matter. You can break my arm. You can choke me out. I'll go to sleep. You can knock me out, but there's no tapping. That's not even a question. So they saved me the beating.
What was your game plan in that fight?
Take him down, submit him.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was a wrestler, which I knew was going to be tough to take down. And then he's a world champ kickboxer. So I was like, I wasn't going to. And then I made another mistake where I switched southpaw because I usually fight this way.
Okay.
And then, but when I fight this way, my shots are better. So I needed that shot. I needed to get him to the ground because I wasn't going to fight with him. He's too big.
Right.
And he's a world
tall,
champion.
huh?
Yeah, he's tall too. Yeah.
6'3"?
6'2", yeah, 6'3", yeah.
6'3", okay.
Big name there.
He's a huge name
Yeah,
too.
Guy Metzger. That was-
Yeah.
Lions then.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the Lions were cleaning house at that time too.
I got into this what I call an exhibition match with Gokor, yeah?
Yeah. Oh.
Exhibition.
Oh no way.
And it was kind of like that was like the UFC was brand new. This was like in 1990. So it was still brand new. And so there's competing companies that were trying to they saw, like this UFC thing looks like it's taking off. Let's try. So the World Fighting Federation, there's a stuntman I worked with on the movie The Rock.
Oh,
remember that? The Rock with who's in that? Nicolas Cage or shit? Who I forget. Anyway, he contacted me, asked me, "Hey man, I'm super novice fighter, right? But back then I was big, right? And they said they wanted they kind of like casting like a Tong Po kind of.
Oh
actor.
yeah.
So it was like kind of their casting for this thing. So Oleg Tuktarov was like one of the fighters.
Yeah.
They had all these real fighters, many some pretty big names for that time, fighting on this card. And then there's Gokor Chivichyan, and we're the main card. We're like the main event. I'm I was the guy, I was working out at a kickboxing studio in a strip mall off of Venice Boulevard. Okay. And I'm like in the white belt class, but because I looked gnarly and, and I could kick the, like what you see me do on the, I do that movie kind of shit, but real life, forget it. I tell people, this is, because people say, are you training for a fight? I say, I'm not fighting nobody, man. I can't even fight my wife, but I like the movements. Yeah. But anyway, they said, bro, and they said, okay. And I met Gokor actually. It was, because I said, fuck, who is this guy? I said, I'm not a professional fighter and you guys want me to fight this guy, that UFC kind? And that was a time where, I was living in LA, Gokor was training with Gene LaBelle up on Sunset.
Yeah.
And, back then you couldn't do MMA in California.
Yeah.
So we had to go to Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh wow.
And they tell me, dude, you're gonna fight this guy, bro. Okay, you're a kickboxer. You just do your thing. He's a grappler. He's gonna do his thing. We're gonna give you 5,000 cash. You'll be in and out in 48 hours. Like from the time your plane leaves to the time you get back to LA, it's gonna be 48 hours. We'll give you 5,000 cash. And I said, Birmingham, Alabama. Because my thing of Alabama was like Southern comfort and all that. I was thinking, so I thought we're going to fight in a swamp, or if I lose, they're going to take me out and throw me in the alligators. But no, there was a beautiful hotel. There was a nice venue, like at their version of the Blaisdell.
Yeah.
And I met with Gokor before the fight, though. I actually went to his studio, And I rolled with him, and he was so good.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd experienced like that beforehand was Halson,
Oh, yeah.
because I'd rolled with Halson a few times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it rolled. He rolled me into a spliff, and yeah, but it was I knew, right, like, and he was so skilled at what he did. Like, he was like flying arm bars and all kind of stuff on me, but yet the way he was taking me down was so gentle. Like, I'm fully upright. I don't know he's gonna jump and get his legs around, and then, but the way he did it was so expert that I'm on my back in an arm bar from standing, and it actually felt kind of good. I was like, really, yeah. So
He liked you
he was nice. He was a nice guy.
because he's known to make it sore.
Oh yeah, no,
Everything he does hurts.
I know. That's because when I told the guys at the Santo Academy what I was doing, they're like, "You're doing what?" Like, these are my instructors. Like, fuck. Eric Paulson was training there. Like, dude,
Yeah.
you are fine. I'm like, well, they told me to do my best. He's like, it's nice knowing you, man. Yeah. They're like, wow. But yeah, we did. We went to Birmingham, and they asked me, please don't punch him in the face. Because he had a septum surgery.
Yeah.
I'm like, no problem. Yeah, no punching in the face. Okay, cool. Anything else? Yeah. So I remember I was terrified. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because even when we'd spar, just in my little McDojo, I'd get very nervous. So now there's all these people. And I'm watching these real killers get in there, and like Oleg Taktar doing his thing, and then a lot of name brand guys, and like here I am, like a total imposter. But I did my best, and he got me in the arm bar. I got a few punches to his ribs. Yeah. I got some couple body blows, and then it didn't last long. I think it was about a minute, and I think he let it go a minute.
Yeah.
It could have gone a lot.
That's right. You made $5,000 for a minute.
And actually, honest, I thought, because some of the guys are telling me, these fight promotions, bro, whatever they offered you, you got to be willing to do this for free.
Yeah.
It has to be a pass, because they told him you're going to get screwed. These guys actually, I was back home in about 48 hours.
Wow.
And they gave me an envelope of cash, $5,000. I was like, damn. And I heard back then, for 1990, whenever this was, 5,000.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, it was right before Christmas, so it worked out.
Oh, that's a good story.
Well, yeah, but
that's a great story.
As good as your story. So, yeah, that was more like a goof. Yeah, that was just, it was kind of fun. But
that's a great story.
And that's also where I learned that, unlike you, that maybe MMA might not be for me, because I got punched in the face a few times, and I was like, whoa, okay.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, it's like, say, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And that was good time.
I think only very few people don't mind getting punched in the face. Yeah, I definitely didn't like it. I mean, I just trained more so I could not get hit.
Doesn't happen, yeah. There you go.
And if it happens, that's how it happens, right?
Mm-hmm. So, you must know Marcello.
Marcello
Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in one of his videos, actually. Yeah. I think it's on YouTube.
Is it really?
I went to New York, and I saw his school, so I went over and I said, can I take a private lesson from Marcello? And Marcello comes out and he's like, oh, dude, you're not taking a private lesson. You're going to come to my class. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy named Paul Schreiner that he's the #1 guy. Mm-hmm. And after the techniques was done, 3 of us were doing this. This guy's in for 5 minutes, and then this guy jumps in for another 5 minutes. So this guy's going 10. Okay. So I'm like going, oof, these guys are way bigger than me. And Marcello wasn't like in tournament shape. Mm-hmm. So Marcello's looks like about 195. I'm 190. Paul Schreiner looked like 210. I'm like going, oh, frick, I'm in for it. Mm-hmm. So I wrote Marcello. I do just fine that for 5 minutes. Then Paul comes in, and I just barely survive that. Then they go with each other. Then I watch that, and I'm going, holy crap. Like, I actually watched Paul submit Marcello. No. Like, I was like,
that real time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they trained so much together. It just flowed right after that. They started again, and it kept going. And then I was like, wow, that's pretty good. I didn't get submitted.
Mm.
And then the next round, then I just couldn't stop not getting submitted by both of them.
Mm.
So my strength was able to hold them off for 5 minutes each.
Okay.
But then after that, I had no strength at all.
Right.
Like
Okay.
everything was just pure technique, and I was toast. And I think Marcello was doing that with anybody that wanted to come that had some kind of name or some kind of championships.
Mm-hmm.
He'd videotape it, let you train for free.
Mm-hmm.
He puts it on YouTube.
Wow.
So I'm one of the statistics on that YouTube. But I mean, there's such big names on there. It's like not a big deal.
Wow.
I'm probably one of the smallest names that he just submitted.
Yeah, Marcello is like,
He's unreal. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really, I was talking with Burton about him. I'd love to meet him.
Yeah. Super good guy.
Yeah, anyone that knows even a little bit about jiu-jitsu, you can't not idolize.
Oh yeah. The guy's amazing.
And he just seems like the nicest person.
He is. He's super
Yeah,
nice.
it's-
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
We're going to get him on here too, this
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah.
Hey, so how often do you see Enson?
Not often.
He's
Usually,
in Japan, yeah?
yeah, usually he comes home twice a year.
Okay.
So, and then I usually visit Japan once or twice a year.
Okay.
So,
Does Enson still practice? Does he still train? Or
nah, he trains a little bit, but he's more like that old school weightlifter, bench
Oh,
press,
okay.
like just that.
But does he still like roll, like do jiu-jitsu?
He will, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he'll still roll with some of his fighters.
Okay.
And then if he gets angry with them, he'll actually like get on the mat and like throw punches.
Yeah.
But if it's pure jiu-jitsu,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he doesn't move. real
He's
good.
older, yeah. He's an older.
He's actually younger.
Oh, younger.
He looks older though.
Okay.
Yeah, he's bigger too.
How?
I think he's like 240,
Wow.
somewhere around there. Yeah,
He's always held that weight though. Yeah.
he's always a big guy.
Big
yeah.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since we're elementary school, I think I was in 6th grade, he was in the 4th, and we are both the same weight, and he was already the same height with me, and it just progressively got worse. The difference.
So, did you guys both start the MMA thing kind of the same time? Like,
He actually started it. He started jiu-jitsu first.
okay.
And then that's what got me into jiu-jitsu, because I was always like karate. Then I went to taekwondo, tang sudo, hapkido. Then I went to Wing Chun. And then he did jiu-jitsu. Never did anything else.
Okay.
And then 2 months of jiu-jitsu, he just beat the crap out of me one day. And we cleared the living room. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't want to knock you out. I hit you with one punch. Typical what stand-up guys tell grapplers.
Right.
If I hit you once, you're down.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, but you can't hit me. I'm like,
You can't hit me.
can't hit me.
You can't hit me.
Right?
You can do anything you want, but you can't hit me. All right, let's go.
So we clear the thing, right? We were on a carpet in the living room. And I just kind of went like this. He goes, okay, go hit me. So I kind of went like this, and he tackles me. And then so we start wrestling.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm choking like,
Uh-huh.
what the frick was that?
Uh-huh.
He's like, why, you want to try again? I'm like, yeah, frick yeah. Now I'm going to try to hit you.
Uh-huh.
So we did it again. Same thing happened again. And then as we're doing it, I'm getting rug burns.
Oh.
And each time I survive a little bit longer before I get choked,
Right.
then I'm more pissed and more. And then we're super pissed. Now we're like ready to scrap. Right?
Uh-huh.
So I said, all right, frick is on.
Uh-huh. So you can punch and...
Oh yeah, I was
full
freaking
on.
swinging, and like I couldn't do a thing to him. I couldn't hit him, and I'm like going since I was 4 till I'm 20 years old.
Uh-huh.
I've been training martial arts, and he never did a martial art. And I go, how can that be?
Uh-huh.
I was so angry,
Right.
and not angry at him. I was just angry, like what the frick have I been doing all my life?
Right.
I thought I could fight.
Mm.
That's how it all started.
Okay.
And then what? Then we went to the racquetball nationals in Seattle.
Mm.
We got into a car accident.
Oh.
And this big black guy comes out like freaking yoked, like,
Uh-huh.
and he was like guaranteed steroid, like rage.
Right.
Came running over, and our driver was a skinny howly guy,
Mm-hmm.
like white, 150 pounds, 5'9".
Uh-huh.
Guy goes and bends him backwards over the car, and then Enson goes over and goes, "Let him go." And the guy looks at Enson and goes, and like goes to shove my brother, and my brother grabs his hand, and then like pulls him in, and then they're looking at each other face to face, and I'm going, "Stop, guys! You guys got to stop! I'll call the police. Just calm down." Like I didn't want anything to happen, and I'm thinking, "Oh, frick! I got the black belt in taekwondo, I got black belt in karate, and I don't think I can hurt this guy." And I'm like thinking to myself, "Frick!"
Because he just looked like...
Oh, he was just way too big. Yeah, he looked like solid steel. So I go around the car to like, I'm gonna find a payphone, right? And then all of a sudden I hear a patoonk, and they're like, you know when a body hits the ground hard? And I was like, oh, frick. And I turn around and my brother's sitting on the guy. And so I come running back and I'm like looking at how I'm going to kick this guy or whatever, right? And the guy grabs my brother by the shirt and then just like goes, rip. And then my brother's shirt rips off, but he's turning belly down. So my brother gets his back, puts him to sleep. And then the guy's laying on my brother. And then Enson's going, Egan, is he out? Is he out? And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, I think he's out. And the guy's like twitching like this, right? So he lets him go. And then now Enson's trying to get out, but the guy's laying over him.
Okay.
And Enson goes, get him off of me. I'm like, what do you mean? So I grab the guy's foot and we're pulling and then my brother's shoving his leg on him. Finally gets out. We sprint back to the car. We jump in the car. We start driving. And then my brother goes, gotta stop. I'm like, what do you mean you gotta stop? Let's get out of here. And he goes, I gotta make sure the guy's not dead. I'm like, he's not dead. Let's go. Let's keep going. So I'm like, guy, let's keep driving. And then the guy's like looking at Enson, looking at me. Of course, he's like terrified of Enson right now, right? So we stop and we watch and we see the guy get on his knees. We see him stand up, shake his head. Like, let's go.
Okay. So he's all right.
Right after that, I'm like, after the tournament, we got home. I need to learn jiu-jitsu. So then Enson trained me for months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's how I got
I
into
always wanted
jiu-jitsu.
to know that. Wow.
Right after I saw that, I'm like, I gotta learn jiu-jitsu. I quit everything else.
That was
Crazy.
right. And you've done but like, and you said the labrum stuff, was that from jiu-jitsu or just from everything?
This one was from jiu-jitsu. In the world championships, it got the guy threw me, like I fell and I like knocked it out of the socket, dropped down.
Oh, okay.
So my arm was down low, so I just went on the fence and I popped it back in.
Okay.
And then my right side was just from overuse from racquetball.
From racquetball, yeah.
Yeah, it was just torn. And yeah, you can, I really believe like with the muscle development, developing it properly, you can still function.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
You can.
Well, that's another question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think of like injuries in training? Like, you know how so many people like, oh, I'm injured, I can't train. What's your belief?
Oh, I like that one.
I think you're going to be like what I like.
So, I've always, with injuries, the choice is always, well, do you rest or, active recovery? That's, at least to me, those are the only two choices. And I've always, my approach to my body is, when I was younger, I wanted to be a soldier. I trained from high school to be in the Army or the Marines or something. I remember they're saying somewhere I heard like a Marine a Marine should be able to take any weapon in any environment and function as a soldier with it. It could be his weapon, it could be his enemy's weapon, it could be a stick. And so that's always been my approach to my body, is that I'm a soldier. I'm not an athlete. So I need to always be able to to fight in some way. And even to this day, every day I'm going to pick some kind of a fight with myself. Like yesterday it was the deadlift, that thing. And other days it might just be like to do a clapping push-up, which is hard for me to do. So when it comes to the injuries, unless it's severe, and I'm really lucky that I haven't had something like, if I pop something, I have to rest. But it's all, and you know this, everybody that trains, it's almost kind of fun to see what you come up with to work with and around that condition. Yeah. And you usually, almost every time you stumble on something that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because it forces you to do something or to explore an option that you thought you wouldn't like, and when it comes to my knees, and I complain about my knees, then people see the things I do, like I'll kicking things or doing things that would seem to be bad for the knees. But my thing is, I always want to be able to cultivate my body to fight. Like, I'm not a fighter. I never would be a fighter of your level. But I train everyone to be able to fight. And not number one, if you ever do need to fight, it's a good thing to, have something.
But yeah.
But more than that, the attributes of a fighter transcend or translate into everything else you do. Like, think of what you do. If you have all the attributes of an MMA fighter, what sport can you not engage in? Or what activity can you not engage in? Right? Nothing. So that's why if you train to be a fighter, you're just training to be in everything, to be able to do everything. So, I know I shouldn't squat as deep as I do, or maybe lunge as deep as I do, or jump, and some days it doesn't feel great, but I still do it. I just do it in I guess the one thing, I'll do things that might be considered harsh, but I do them in much smaller doses, like extremely small. Like those deadlifts I did yesterday, it took me to do that 1 rep. Literally, I did 6 reps before that. I just did 65 pounds, 95, 115, 135, or maybe more than 6. So I just added a little weight, but did 1 rep. Add a little and that's honestly, that's how a lot of my workouts go. The warm up is 1 rep.
Yep.
Add weight, another rep, but it has to be extremely meticulously constructed. The way I do that rep, I need to control it, that weight, precisely all the way up and all the way down. But yeah, so with injuries, I just basically I come up with strategies on how to. I guess more than that is, how you're talking about, like, by having all this muscle, you have more options, especially like when you're recovering from something like knee surgery, or like for me with chemo and the surgery I had, the chemo eats up a lot of tissue.
Yep.
So having redundant amount of tissue, I feel gives us, like, when we start to lose joint surfaces, like they literally start to break or degrade, if we have redundant muscular reinforcement and balance around the joint, I believe the hamstrings and the calves can largely replace the action of the ACL.
Yep.
And just having very strong calves and hamstrings and adductors, or just everything.
Yep.
You can have broken, and literally, like when cartilaginous surfaces break or degrade, now there's space where they can move into. But I also believe that if you're very well muscled, having a lot of muscular reinforcement around a less than perfect joint can minimize the contact surface, the degree and duration of that. So being strong allows me to get away with more damage and work around it.
Yeah.
Because there's some days it's like you'll get up and there's a catch in your knee, right? And you're like, oh my God, just like barely. And thinking, man, if someone were to jump on me right now, this would not. And then 5 minutes later, you can freaking do single leg pistol squat with, and that's just your body figured out a different strategy on how to recruit the articulating surfaces of the joint. So yeah, I believe by having, and that's why I also like to train so diversely, so that I'm constantly building different parts of a given joint system. So if something goes wrong, I have a little muscular margin on that joint.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I don't let these things stop me.
Yeah.
Of course, if as I'm training, they start getting progressively, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But in general, no, it's an opportunity to usually discover something that you should discover anyway.
Yeah, totally right.
Could be helpful. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys with like, oh, my back hurts, I'm going to take a break today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And most of the time, I always encourage my guys, you know what, let's see what you can do. And they leave, their back's not sore. right?
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of guys that have like, whatever issues they have, knee, shoulder, it's a matter of weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and before it was like, oh, gotta rest, gotta stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But I found through the years, and I've been seeing a lot more research showing this, that it's actually a lot of times pain in certain areas is because it's weak, not because it needs rest.
Exactly. Another thing is I found that my perception of injury or my perception of whether I'm sick or have allergies, it has a lot to do with what's going on in here too. That's another reason why I try hard. It's very important to me to stay balanced and to stay happy and to spend lots of time with my family and to not be so centralized in social media and all the things that seem to come from it. Because I find that when my head is messed up, all of a sudden I'm injuring my cells, right?
Yeah.
Or my perception of injuries now is increased.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's just another way of trying to say just be happy. Yeah. Because but because even if I'm kind of messed up, if I'm kind of happy and my wife's happy with me and everything's good, then I can I can figure out. There's a lot of workarounds. So at the same time, I've also for me it takes a different kind of discipline to know when I actually should just be still. And simply, it is a lot harder for me to on any given day not do anything. All
The same.
right? It literally takes kind of a different mindset. You actually have to kind of, but I've learned that sometimes to just, instead of working out, I'm just going to sit. This one time I just literally, I said, I was really sad one day because the house I grew up with, I saw it get leveled, a new owner bought it and they had it. And then my sister happened to call me. Like, I don't know, she happened to be driving by literally the day that the bulldozers were, and she called me like as if our own house was on fire. She said, they're tearing down our house. So I drove there and I stood in the yard and I watched these things it just broke my heart. And I went and that evening, like I was crushed. And then that evening I just put a chair. I was going to work out, so I set up my camera and I'm starting to bring up my weights. And my rule was, when you bring it out, if you bring it out, you gotta use it. Like if you put the weight on the bar, you're not taking the weight out. You right? And I'm starting to bring this shit out, and I'm realizing, okay, if I bring this out, I gotta. And I'm like, today, no. I took the stuff. I put it because technically I didn't put it down, so I could.
Still in your hand.
So yeah, I got technicality, and I put a chair out there, and I sat in that chair, and I guess I'd meditate, or I just basically sat there. I was just sad, and I put the camera on, and I closed my eyes, and I sat there and I meditated, and it just happened to be at a time where the sun, I stayed out there and it was a perfect time of day. So when I played it in time lapse, you could see the sun starting to go. And then I explained in the caption why I did that. And that video got
good. Yeah, I
many
bet.
views. Just a time lapse of a guy sitting in a chair with sunglasses on and the sun going down. But I said today I just couldn't. Everything was telling me I should, but and I have no regrets in hindsight that I said I went inside and I was more at peace with that than if I'd done my barbell. So yeah, so sometimes it takes almost a higher level of discipline and self-awareness to truly just let your body take a break and let it just be still. Yeah. So
I think that, like when someone trains for so many years, that's the hardest thing, is to not train. Because if you don't train, there's like something wrong, right? Where they always say your worst workout is the one you didn't do, right? And I feel like for us, sometimes it's reversed. You know, like for us, if the mindset's not right, we shouldn't work out because we could get hurt.
Yeah,
And then that's going to be worse than anything else because injury sets you back more than anything that,
true.
right?
And you know, another thing that kind of really busted me out was going back to social media. Some of the downside was posting for the gram. Instead, I started moving away from what I authentically would have done for my workout, especially in that breakout time from 2020 to 2021. It went from me doing like literally, okay, this is what I'm going to do for my workout. But then based on the responses I was getting from certain videos, I started now trying to make upcoming videos with that kind of content, even though that was not what I wanted to do, or that wasn't necessarily good for me to do on that day. I got caught up in that, just like everybody does. Oh, people like this video. I'm going to double down on that. But then you start doing and that's kind of where I started getting into a lot of injuries too. And then, of course, on top of that, if they like this video at 150 pounds, then they're going to love this video at 170. Oh, and that 170, sure enough, they liked 170, so they 200, everyone.
Yeah.
And then next thing, everything's snap, crackle, pop, man. Yeah, because we're chasing the gram.
Yeah,
So, you know, that's where I learned how addictive the content side of social media is. It is, in ways, I would venture to more powerfully addictive than the consumer side, especially if you're getting what appears to be success.
Yeah.
It's very visceral. It's very like, you post this, you see your follower count go up like 30,000, literally on some videos. And you're like, fucking, that wasn't hard to do. It was just 3 reps out of my entire workout. I just clip that, you post it, and it gets a lot of views. And wow. And one of the things, you know, I was talking to my friend who was visiting here. I took him and his wife to see Clark's farm.
Yeah.
And he's developing, he's in charge of the social media for his martial arts academy in Camarillo. And he's done really well. He has 100,000 or 111,000 followers on Instagram, 376 posts. So he's doing really well. Yeah. But he said, like, he asked me, like, what do you think? He says, and I've noticed this as well. There's there's thousands of creators and fitness people who are so much better than I am. I mean, technically, their knowledge, their education, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
And I look at their follower account sometimes because I visit their profile and I'm shocked I feel like these people should have more followers than this guy's a gem. And, you know, but you wonder, like, why don't they seem to be, what puzzled me, I kind of,
like, why don't they have a million views?
Like and you know what I think it is? Because this one guy said, hey man, how do I, look at the color of my skin. Oh, okay. It's lighting. I was like, damn, I'm dying. This one guy said, man, how do I just get my thing to grow? And I looked at his thing and he has beautiful videos, very informative. His speaking is just on point. He's good looking. His lighting, he does all the little jump cuts and the B-roll. And I told him, you know what, man? I think the only thing that I think accounts for what people that follow me is I'm like fitness popcorn. Literally, my videos, a long one is 30 seconds. And the average is 8 to 12 seconds. And when you click my video, we just jump right in. There's no intro. I'm not going to talk to you or try and sell you on nothing. It's just bam. And then I try to create that video so it loops.
Yeah.
So when I put the barbell down, it's now being picked up again, right? And I think keeping this stuff short sometimes and just minimizing the amount of actual, I like people to just watch what I'm doing and form their own opinions on it. And so that's why certain ones I don't even put music on it, because maybe I want them to see the breathing that I'm using, and the music is just, but the shortness, I think people really like, because even creators that I love, no, I listen to yours. Yours, I listen to the whole.
Mine's the long
I
time.
gotta listen.
I try to get it under a minute and a half.
I listen to your, yeah, that's why I know all your stories. But in general, if people talk too long, even if what they're saying is fascinating, sorry, got like the guppy attention span. Yeah. So I guess keeping them, like for me, I'm kind of a little ADHD, so I like things just bam,
Yeah,
like boom, I want to jump in. Like okay, you need to see that slap thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not into that. I think most people are not, right? I mean, you can't not watch it if it shows up. But as a sport, that's not the. Yeah. Have you seen the new one, the leg kicking one?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
So that I can kind of, because they're okay. The leg, right? You might walk funny for a year or two, but it's not the head.
Yeah.
That's wow, man. That's kind of new.
That is new. I just saw that recently,
I just recently came up. I saw that. And I'm like,
well, I watched that. And I get up. I'm limping.
I know.
like, oh.
Hey, but have you seen the ones where the guy who's throwing the kick breaks his shin?
Oh, I didn't see that.
There's a couple of those now.
Oh, no way.
The thing is brand new, but yeah, the guy
that happens.
And this guy threw a solid, just turn that thing over, wham, hits the other guy's leg, and he goes down. And this was a hand gross. Like when a bone breaks,
yeah, it's sticking out of the skin.
you can see. It's like a cylinder.
Yeah.
You can see the cylinder shape of the bone through his skin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like if you break a bone off, get that, and you can see that part, kind of the corner of it poking through. I'm like, oh, but yeah, I guess that's gonna be that's gonna be the new one, and I think that's a little more, because you kind of get the point.
Yeah.
Have you seen the other one? This I think is gonna be big time. There's a board. And each guy puts their foot up on the board and they got a stick. And it's like tug-of-war, but you're pushing with your legs, pulling with your arms, and you gotta pull the
guy over.
Either get the stick out of the other guy's hand or pull him over. Oof. That's
gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a thing. Because no one gets hurt.
Yeah.
And it's arms and legs.
Yeah.
Because, arm wrestling, and we've all seen those injuries that occur, those spiral fractures.
Oh, yeah. That's
like, that is not a, but this.
That's a good one, yeah.
You could do that at a beach.
Yeah.
Like, I seen certain jiu-jitsu schools, I seen them.
They do that?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll do that with the belts and stuff.
That's a good one.
It's crazy. It's just a board between their feet and then a stick.
Yeah.
And they just fucking going at each other. Yeah, it's I think
that's a good one.
That could be a new sport.
I didn't hear that one. That's a good one.
That to me, after I saw that, it's one of those things like, why wasn't that done like 1,000 years ago?
Yeah, that's
how did arm wrestling become so big? Because to me, that's a test of the entire body, your grip strength, your legs, your back. And to me, that'd just be a great exercise.
Wow, I wonder if they have weight classes and age groups.
I expect that to be a big thing.
Yeah, I think
because I would watch that.
Yeah.
I'd be into it. And it's the ladies play it.
Yeah.
The ladies are vicious. Yeah. When they play it, you see one come flying over the and they have to catch them. But that's a cool sport.
Wow, that is.
But the slap thing is like, oh
yeah, that was too brutal for me.
And especially the ladies. I like to see the ladies.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, even the MMA stuff, the women, man.
Yeah, and
they scrap, but I don't know if I like seeing women.
The fighters in one.
Oh yeah.
Between you and me, I don't know who the UFC champs are.
Yeah.
All I watch is one.
Yeah.
Because to me, the level of fighting and the fights, every single one is a barn burner.
Oh, yeah.
But UFC, all right.
It's kind of got boring a little bit, yeah.
I haven't watched a UFC and I don't even remember.
I only watch Max. I only watch the Hawaii fighters. Anyone from Hawaii, I'll watch UFC in it. Right. And I'm like, who? I don't know him.
Yeah. No, that one is there. I think they're going to dominate.
Yeah.
I really think. I don't know how you.
Marcello fought on that, a grappling fight.
Recently,
Yeah.
Was that against Imanari?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He won, huh?
Yeah, he did. Freaking submitted him.
Poor Imanari, man.
I know.
Because
He's good, man.
Did Ruotolo also beat him?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Ruotolo's tough, though.
Have you met Ruotolo?
Yeah. The two brothers.
Are they big guys?
They're not real big. No.
They're like surfer dudes, right?
Yep. Yep. They got that built, like, real athletic.
Super wiry,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
those guys are on a. I just
That's the next level.
is that how? Is there a generation of people like them, or are they unique within their age group?
I would say they're kind of unique, actually.
the way
They're like
they
a
move.
different style. Like, that's
And
like
those two are they're
brothers,
like, they're like the Diaz brothers. They're both deadly,
yeah.
but in different ways. Or like you and Enson.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Two
just,
different styles.
So the Ruotolos there, and they're young, like 22 or something, or 20.
Yeah, they're kids.
They're kids.
Kids making $1 million.
That's what they're making. They're making
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That the money in jiu-jitsu now is wow.
Good. At
Oh.
least they should be getting at least that. Well, that was it, Bill.
Okay.
We're at 2:30. We went.
Wow, look at that.
We went way over. You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, I'm good too because I figured I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna get to talk to Bill, and we're gonna be in 2 hours."
Wow, that was easy, man. The burgers really kicked things off. That was fun, bro.
Thanks, man.
Right on, you guys.
Man, always good, man.
Brother.